Evictions, Zachary. That's who you are.
That's me.
I'm Chad. That's who I is. I are baboon. I am weasel.
This is either the best or worst intro we've ever had.
I feel like it can be both. Let both exist in the ether.
That's fair.
So we got some newsies. Got some newsies to get to eventually. Then we have a turning point review. I'm excited. Thackeray, this is a big weekend for the fight scene. Pedro Carvalho and Patricio Pitbull going at it for the Bellator featherweight title and a spot in the featherweight Grand Prix. Plus, Yaroslav Amosov. I think I said that right. I think he's Polish or Ukrainian. He's Eastern Bloc. That's all you got to know. It's not that hard. He's taking on Logan Storley, and he's undefeated as well. And it's gonna be a big fucking fight in Bellator. That Saturday is fucking yes, turning point. Woohoo! And we'll get to the card eventually. But Marcus and I are both in agreement when we say this: Turning Point on paper looks better than Bound for Glory.
So much.
So much better. One, there's no Eric Young. Ha-ha. Two, there's no Eric Young in the main event. Ha-ha. Three, Davari. I got no problems with that somehow.
I got no issues.
Right? Like, all right, big old tag team match. Yeah. Before we go any further, though, our Woman Crush of the Week has been selected. Last minute, couldn't think of one. Then I realized, hey, the Orville's going to but return to filming in the next few weeks. So let's go with an Orville actress. We're going with Jessica Shozier. I think is how you say her name. She was the what were the weird chicks with the ears and the super strong? I forget what they were called. They're the security officers. I remember that much.
Yes, she's like 4'5" and stronger than everyone else in the universe.
Yes, this is the replacement to her because they replaced her mid-season with a different character, and this is the replacement of that actress, Jessica Shozier. She's the second security officer on the Orville. And our wrestler of the week is Shingo Takagi, because if you saw his match with Minoru Suzuki on Power Struggle, I think that was Friday night, Saturday morning, I think, you would be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because they killed each other. So with that being said, let's get into this week's Impact. It's the last stop before Turning Point. Turning Point, of course, is the Impact Plus special, and I love Impact Plus when they do their specials. I will literally pay $10 a month just for their specials. Sure beats paying $10 a month for nothing, which is what I was doing for about 6 of the months that I had it for 2020. So, about time. Zach, would you like to see the pay-per-view switch over to Impact Plus permanently as well?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. I don't know how many people are still ordering a pay-per-view.
Well, they're doing them through Fight TV, so I don't know what's going on with that. Because I would imagine it, even if it's just like a bump to 15 or whatever, like I don't think many people would cut it, because I think a lot of people who have it are pretty diehard fans. And if you bumped it to $10 or $12 or what have you, and you added the pay-per-views as well for no extra fee, I think Impact fans who have the Impact Plus app would definitely stick with it. I can imagine there's more than 30 to 50,000 people who have the service. But still, even if that's the case, like that's going to be a lot more eyes on your product than having them buy it through pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's true.
So, give people a reason to buy the fucking app. That's the issue that they're facing right now. Like these monthly specials or bi-monthly specials or whatever they are. Like, they're awesome. I love them, especially when they start going, flavored. And by that, I mean, 1 month in, 2018, 2019, they had the Great Muda main event. I mean, it wasn't a great match, but it was fucking Great Muda and Tommy Dreamer in the same ring.
Great Muda.
Right? That's it. That's all you need. 1 month, they had a Pentagon headline, and everyone kind of had, I don't want to say, a Pentagon theme, but, there was other guys on the card that kind of had that Pentagon vibe. like Quixote, I think is what his name
Mhm.
was. So like that was pretty cool. You know, like do that kind of shit. Like do a salute to Atlanta, where you just have a bunch of ex-WCW wrestlers on it. Like that shit would work. I think that's how you differentiate the pay-per-views with the specials is like have not celebrity cameos. That's the right way to put it. But have like wrestling cameos or like do what GCW does, where like they have like theme pay-per-views around certain guys. You know, like that would
Mhm.
be cool. Just be different. Like that's all you got to do with these things. Just be fucking different. All right, so we got the tag title tournament for the Knockouts division coming up in a week. And we start this week's episode off with Neva and Havoc versus Tennille and Tenile and Madison with Caleb with a K. This is a match. It did happen. It was a thing.
Yes,
I'm trying not to be negative.
we can prove that it existed.
But can we prove that a tree makes a sound when it lands in the forest? The answer is yes. Concussive force creates a sound no matter if you're there to hear it or not. Why are we arguing about it? Moving the fuck on. Getting all scientific. So Gia Miller catches up with the Good Brothers, and she goes, "Are you guys the most useless tag team signing in the history of the company?" And Chad says, "Yes." Nope. Just no. They make fun of Ethan Page's Karate Man, and I'm just sitting here going, why? Why is this a thing? And apparently there's going to be a second Talking Shop of Mania, and I'm not going to watch it.
I didn't watch the first one. I didn't know that the first one was like a fake pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the preview for this. I was just like, why?
This was
I could hear Cornette having a heart attack from over here.
Gotta worry about me having a heart attack.
Oh, I'm not worried about you. You're not gonna watch it.
So can we just say right now, Tommy Dreamer as a detective,
Best.
It's so good.
Best thing ever.
He's so versatile, and I'm not even being facetious. I still think if you put the belt on Tommy Dreamer, it wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, look who it's currently on. Not the best idea. But still. Then you have Dreamer being able to be a comedy character, and now he's doing all like, he's fucking Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Dreamer, Tommy Dreamer, Tommy Sherlocks. He also looks like the Detroit Lions backup quarterback, apparently. That was a fun find for us. He's got a lie detector, and he's going to find out who shot Johnny Bravo. But, alas, no clues were given. We got some good stuff with Cody and Larry D. Thackeray, any thoughts so far through the first few segments of Impact?
So far, not off to a thrilling start, except for the Dreamer stuff. Dreamer stuff is fantastic. Detective Dreamer. I'm all about it. The opening Knockouts tag team match was meh. I think is the best way to describe it. Are the Good Brothers the most overhyped, overrated signing? Yes, agreed, 100%. Why are they making fun of Ethan Page's Karate Man? Because what else are they going to do?
I mean, you're not going to talk about the Karate Man gimmick like it's a good thing. Because it's not. Sorry, Ethan. We then have Rohit versus TJP in a last chance X Division opportunity. If TJ cannot defeat Rohit, then TJ cannot face off for the belt while Rohit is champion for the rest of his reign. That, I feel, is like the best version of the loser leaves town match concept.
Yes.
Because it doesn't set you up for an impossibility. Cody Rhodes, when he lost to Jericho, I think it was who it was, they had the whole thing on, like, if I lose, I'll never get a shot at this belt ever. Why would you paint yourself into that box? That's so dumb. Sting did it when he lost to Bully Ray in 2013. That was dumb. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. And it's one of those things where you know when someone books it, it's being booked by someone who thinks it's still 1970. No. It doesn't work. All it's going to do is set us up to go, why would you fucking book that? So this is the best way to do it because it still allows TJP to get a next division title shot. He just has to wait until Rohit loses to somebody else. Boom, he's right back in the scene. So this is solid. I feel like if they keep Sheik Abdul Davari around, I was about to call him Sheiky Baby. Wrong Sheik. I feel like Rohit and Davari would be a great tag team. Davari's only like 30. He's my age. He's like 34. He might be 35. Yeah. He debuted at like 18 years old in 2005. So he's actually younger than Rohit.
That's funny.
Yeah. Plus, if you bring back, well, technically, I think Davari is Pakistani. I think he's Middle Eastern, and everyone else, I believe, is Indian. So it wouldn't exactly be a cultural reunion of sorts. But like, if you want to do the Desi Hit Squad still, like, you know, you could do something there. But I would change the gimmick up and get rid of the Desi Hit Squad because that's a dumb name. But I liked Gamma. Yeah. Gamma was great. I want more Gamma. And you know, if they bring back Shera, I wouldn't mind, but God, we haven't seen him since the pandemic started. Wait, did Shera evolve Pokemon style into COVID-19? Is that why we haven't seen him?
Oh, shit.
Oh, we're going down a rabbit hole. Rohit obviously won. TJP can no longer challenge for the X Division title, but fear not, TJP loyalists. He's going to be part of MLW's Restart, and he's going to be part of New Japan's Super J Cup. So if you really need to get your fix of TJP, which is kind of like getting your fix of sugar-free and caffeine-free Mountain Dew, why even bother? You still have opportunities and venues in which to do so. Yeah. So we then get followed by, he's next in line to be questioned by Time Dreamer. Hernandez tells followed by that he thinks he shot John E. Bravo. Kira and Tasha come up and they're like, hey, don't be so glum, Sugar Plum. But they try to steal him and steal his money instead. It's got to be like $43. Like, it cannot be that much money. How much money was Hernandez making arm wrestling?
Yeah, those are all fucking singles.
Right? Like, you got like a 20 wrapped around a bunch of singles. Want to know how I know that? I've done that. Look at how much money I got. It's so much. That's just a 20 wrapped around 10 singles. Fuck you. Next up, we get the disappointing news that the Rascalz are being evicted from the treehouse. This is hilarious. And we'll get into why after we do the review. But I loved the final treehouse. We're like, wait, we're being convicted. We didn't do anything. And Trace snatches it and goes, we're being evicted. Apparently, we haven't been paying money. And I think it was Wentz who's like, paying money? It's a freaking treehouse. I like that the absurdity wasn't lost on them. It's revealed that next week, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be the Rascalz and Rich Swann in the main event.
Yeah, it's going to be Dez and Wentz versus Rich Swann and Trey Miguel.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an 8-man tag. It's just a traditional tag. Fair enough. So they're leaving, legitimately, but we'll get to why here after the review. We then get AC Romero with Larry D taking on Chris Sabin. Sabin gets the win because he was able to get a bunch of running kicks against AC Romero. But the beatdown still happens, and Chris Sabin's like, well, that sucked. And I don't disagree. We'll get more on that here in a second. Apparently, Sam Callahan, thoughts on this, is recruiting Chris Bay to join his little triumvirate with Ken Shamrock. Thoughts on a Shamrock Bay Callahan trio?
Um, Bay is an interesting addition to it. I mean, let's be honest. Callahan and Shamrock is already just a bizarre duo that no one ever thought would happen. So adding Chris Bay into it was a little odd, but I did like. I like the segment with those two where Sammy sits down and is basically sweet talking Chris Bay into doing something for him, and Bay is like, "Hey, hold on, I'm the ultimate finesser. You can't finesse me." Callahan's like, "That's right. You can't finesse the ultimate finesser. You can't outgrift the ultimate grifter." And I was like, "Okay, I can see where some good stuff could happen." I am not sure how long they're gonna run with this thing, but I'm interested in it.
So, just a thought. What if Sammy Callahan's voice that he does isn't really his voice? Because, like, we can all do the voice, right? Like, it's not hard. You just gravel. You just suck on gravel. What if his real voice is a la The Undertaker in Suburban Commando? You're a dead man, Ramsey! Whoa! No wonder you guys didn't talk, brother. He doesn't actually say brother, but still. That would have been hilarious if he did. Speaking of hilarious, Sinister Minister didn't kill Johnny Bravo, but he thinks he knows who did. And obviously he's going to point the finger at Rosemary because why the fuck wouldn't he?
Right.
That brings us to Bay versus Edwards. Eddie Edwards. Edwards gets the win, but post-match, Chris Bay grabs a steel chair. Sammy Callahan can make his presence felt. Callahan attacks Eddie with a baseball bat until world champion Rich Swann makes a save. The odds are even for a moment, but quickly fall back in the favor of Callahan when Ken Shamrock blindside Swann. Bay capitalizes with the chair shots to the back of Eddie and Swann. Callahan tries to end Swann's career, but the Rascalz clear the ring. Calais. See, when we were talking about the turning point stuff, what I mean for like theme shows, like this would be the best idea for a main event. Bay, Callahan, and Shamrock versus Eddie, Swann, and like a mystery partner. Like that would be great for a main event for Turning Point, but you know, what are you gonna do? We then get Tennille Dashwood asking Jordan Grace to be her partner for the Knockout Tag Team Title Tournament after initially turning down. I think it was Grace turned her down, or vice versa.
Oh well, what it was on Locker Room Talk. It looked like Tennille was going to add Jordan Grace, and then she ended up asking Madison instead. Well, and then of course they lost the match, and Tennille's like, "Fuck this shit."
Well, Jordan's all like, "Y'all need to earn my trust, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrestle Saturday, Turning Point." And Tennille's like, "Well, that did not go as expected." Swann wants to do something special for the Rascalz, and he makes the tag team match for next week before they leave. We then get Gia Miller interviewing Deanna Purrazzo and Kimberly ahead of Purrazzo's no disqualification Knockouts Championship rematch against Su Yung at Turning Point. That's a long sentence. Purrazzo says she is in uncharted territory as she's never been in a no DQ match before. Kimberly disappears from the set. As the Virtuoso searches for her, she's met with a terrifying sight and a horrific message from Knockout champion Su Yung. It appears as though Purrazzo is on her own for Turning Point. There is some who believe this was done to write Kimberly off the show, as she might be joining the Rascalz back in NXT because she had already been in NXT before. So we have no confirmation yet if she's leaving. But if she does leave, this might explain why they brought back Archibald Peck, who's been working for Impact as a writer and segment producer last, I think, year. But could explain why. Personally,
it makes sense.
While I do like Kimberly, I think Archie step up, at least in this role.
Yeah, as this kind of character, then absolutely.
Tommy Dreamer prepares to question Havoc. Dreamer believes that Havoc is motive for shooting Bravo. After all, Havoc made her reincarnate her archenemy, Father James Mitchell, to officiate the ceremony. It wasn't Havoc. We've already deduced who it was. It's crazy, Steve. I did the evidence. Like, it's crazy, Steve. Like, we figured it out, folks. But I'm gonna send you a tweet I sent to Tommy Dreamer, and I think there's a possibility it's not Crazy Steve. You know, just because I didn't notice this before. I had to enlarge the image. I'm gonna wait for Zach's reaction. Just click through.
It was me, Austin.
It was me all along. Like you didn't even notice. He's right there behind cousin Jake, and yeah, it was Vince McMahon from 21 years ago. But yeah, 100% Vince McMahon did it.
Best twist of all time.
Best twist. No one saw. Like, how great would that be if it was actually Vince McMahon? Like, this is a scumbag. Don't get me wrong, but just for the shenanigans' sake of it. We have Reno Scum taking on Followbon Crazy Steve, apparently because now that the folks of the Rascaldom are leaving, apparently now Reno Scum's getting some wins. Yeah! I hit my microphone. Yeah! Scum gets the win. Double foot stomp on Ba. Solid match. But yeah, you can definitely tell that the card is lacking on some of their bigger performers. For whatever reason. Sabin is then backstage, and he's all like, hey, James Storm, the thing you did at Bound for Glory, that was cool, but how about we make it stone cold cool? And Storm's like, I'm drunk. Pay me. Sabin's like, I'll give you a beer. And Storm's like, you speak my language. So now it's James Storm and Chris Sabin versus Triple XL. Gotta love it. We then also get a segment with Dr. Foreman, who informs William Mack that he has a bruised larynx, that he's clear, even though he has a bruised larynx, that he's still clear to face Moose at Turning Point. Moose adds insult to injury as he delivers yet another blindside attack to Mack. This time, Willie sees it coming and turns the tide before Moose can do more damage. Moose and Mack. Mack and Moose. Sounds like a bad video game. I'm making it. Zach, will you play my new video game for the Super Nintendo system called Moose and Mac?
Of course.
Sweet. Also added to the card is Eddie Edwards versus Daivari, Tennille versus Grace, and Jordan Grace and Tennille versus Taya and Rosemary. Then we get the main event. It's Josh Alexander versus Carl Anderson. These guys main evented last week? Not these two, but this team.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think they main evented the week before that in a tag team match. I think it was like an 8-man, right?
I believe you're correct.
So apparently Ethan Page, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, and Josh Alexander are now main eventers. Okay.
I'll give you the North.
I'll give you Josh Alexander. He's cray-cray. Anderson defeated Alexander. It's fine. Anderson's not nearly the wrestler he used to be, but Josh Alexander can carry just about anyone to a win. Zach, give me a grade and any final thoughts you have on this week's Impact.
My grade, I'm gonna give it a C plus. There were some decent segments with it. The main event was fine. Other than that, the X Division title match was pretty solid. Other than that, everything else was just okay. I will say, since we were on last week, the segment with TJP and Rohit in the ring talking to each other, what I thoroughly enjoyed. Because for some reason, I'm like, I feel like I've not seen two wrestlers just go at it on the mic in the ring for like forever. Mm-hmm. And it was both refreshing and I was like, okay, these guys are getting some I like the X Division title match. I think they should have waited for this until Turning Point.
Well, they are doing a open challenge at Turning Point, so they may have other plans.
Yes, I did see that. To me, it was just, we finally got a decent segment, and we could have had some good build with it. you could have put it off until Turning Point, but other than that, it was a pretty solid match.
They did the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the damn thing, let's go back to the Rascalz real fast. They are leaving the company. Apparently, though, it's not it's not this huge kerfuffle. There was no falling out, there was no problems, nothing like that. Apparently, the WWE is like, hey, we had a record-breaking year. We're gonna sign all the bitches. So they signed apparently Dez, Wentz, and Trey to NXT developmental contracts, and I'm sitting here going, well, two things kind of flashed through my head. One, they're never going to be as big as they were with Impact because NXT doesn't know how to promote talent anymore. Two, I feel like the Rascalz never did themselves favors by always looking like heroin addicts.
Yeah.
Especially Wentz.
Especially Wentz. Dez looks great.
Dez looks great. Trey always when Trey was wearing his colors and it was always kind of looking like a 1990s wannabe version of Kid and Play. Like, yeah, he popped. But their trunks were just terrible. Their tattoos are even worse. And then like they don't like wash or like do their hair or anything, and it's like y'all don't look like stars. They heck of hands, like they're talented as hell. But they're going to need to improve their look, especially in the WWE, if they're going to actually get some traction. And I would be surprised if the three of them are kept together. And I would be even more surprised if their segments are as entertaining and as fun as they were during their Impact run. This further compounds what we were talking about, a few weeks ago when we were like, it feels like the Rascalz are done in Impact. We said that. I think that was like, right before Bound for Glory, we said that. And apparently we were right. Listen to our show. We know what's coming. But it further kind of compounds the idea that Impact needs to sign guys long term. They cannot keep with this constant turnover. It's not conducive, it's not helpful, and it's not making their product better. And if they need to start overspending on guys, then they need to start overspending on guys. So there's a possibility that Kimberly is going with them back to NXT, but that's just a rumor, and nothing's been confirmed, verified, or even acknowledged yet. But some believe that she was written off TV on this past week's edition of Impact. So, I mean, it's a possibility.
She was essentially murdered.
I mean, but what's murdered in Impact anymore?
Right.
We
thought Johnny Bravo was murdered, and he's just in the hospital.
Well, that's a thing. Jeez. All right. I don't know who half these people in NXT are. Some dude named Landon Ruff just won the Leon Ruff just won the North American Championship from Johnny Gargano.
Leon Ruff is slightly better than Landon Ruff, but not by much.
Actually, I disagree. I think Landon Ruff is a much better, because you got to remember, even though I thought the name was Landon, like legitimately, it actually does have a double entendre, because when you think about the name Land on Ruff, it sounds like you're saying you're landing rough. How's the landing over there? It was rough, buddy. And that makes it all the much more better. Wrestling name, Landon Ruff. I'm bringing back Porn Star Wrestler, by the way. I was thinking about that the other day. So either on this show or on Underground, we're bringing back Porn Star Wrestler, and I'm going to make you fuckers, find out just how much information you know about wrestling names and porn star names. It's going to be great. I can't wait. We haven't done that in years. I think I lost Zach.
No, I'm still here.
James Storm said he's not under contract with Impact. He was asked to come in and do some stuff, so he's doing some stuff. That's about it. So,
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. I hope that he signs, because where else is he going to go? Yeah, that's just kind of a thing. All right, but with that said, that's all the information news-wise we have for Impact Wrestling. Zach, are you ready to talk about Turning Point?
I'm ready, sir.
Download last night's Wrestling Underground at realnerdcorp.com or on the other video right there on YouTube to hear what Marcus has to say about Turning Point. He did his reviews, preview review last night. We're going to do ours now. We're going to go in ascending order, not descending order, as Turning Point is listed on the card. We'll start with the one that I don't think is listed on here. Oh, no, there it is. So never mind. I'll start with the very bottom. Saban Storm versus Triple XL. Thackeray, who do you got?
I'm gonna say Team Triple XL actually, especially since Storm's not under contract, and they're wanting to push Triple XL as this monster tag team now. So I feel like they're gonna get a win on this.
I think the future of Storm will dictate the outcome of this match. If Storm and Saban win, Storm's sticking around. If Storm and Saban lose, Storm's leaving.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%. Right now, I don't see Storm sticking around. He's one of the few wrestlers, excuse me, who, when he says something, whether it's on social media or not, it tends to be true. He doesn't dick around. He believes in his word having meaning. You look at someone like Cody Rhodes, who's just an outright douchebag. Says on Twitter, the day before Full Gear to a fan, the fan goes, Cody, are you going to start using his name, your last name now that WWE has rescinded the hold on it? And Cody said, no, I'm Cody going forward. You have my word. Maybe he didn't say, you have my word, but still. At Full Gear, he comes out as Cody Rhodes, so he's clearly a lying sack of shit. But maybe he's trying to swerve the audience over a name change that we all knew was coming. What, really? Like, come on.
Yeah, I didn't see the tweet, but I read like an interview he did or some shit where he was like, yeah, I might use Cody Rhodes in like movie or TV projects or whatever, but wrestling going forward, I'm just Cody because Rhodes has baggage. I was like, that's an interesting choice.
Well, he's a lion sack of shit, so. he's 2020 is the year that Cody Rhodes killed his legitimacy. When he and his wife mishandled the whole speaking out thing, the what was the wrestling one? Wasn't speaking out. Was it speaking out? I don't remember what the wrestling was called.
Whatever.
But when people started to like, hey, you got wrestlers that rape people, they're like, oh, we're not going to say anything. Oh, and here's Brandy posting thirst traps. Because nothing screams, we respect victims, like Brandy Rhodes trying to get them likes for posing all sexy and whatnot. The same day women are accusing her wrestlers of being rapists and child pedophiles. Technically not pedophiles. That's an incorrect statement. But Justin Roberts totally trying to hook up with a 17-year-old, at least as far as the accusations go. But I'm just saying, Rhodes lost a lot of respect for me. Just saying. This one's going to be awesome because Daivari apparently took the Super Soldier Serum, and he's jacked.
He's so fucking huge.
I'm not a fan of steroids. I'm not a fan of steroids in sports. I am completely fine with steroids in pro wrestling. It's not a real sport. If you're going to damage your body, taking a suplex, like, why am I going to yell at you for taking steroids? Like, that seems like an oxymoronic statement. Oh, steroids are bad for you, but jump into this barbed wire table. What? Now, I would prefer you not use steroids, but I say this saying that Daivari, I'm going to screw his name up at least 30 more times, that Daivari, he might be on steroids, he might not be on steroids. I don't care. 100% do not give a flying fuck-a-doodle-doo. Shamrock, 100% on steroids. Don't give a fuck. Their bodies, they're right. If they're getting prescriptions and doing it legally, who am I to say differently? That being said, Eddie, I don't want you to necessarily take steroids, but y'all need to stop drinking the Heineken. You got to do some more sit-ups, eat some more eggs, egg whites, eat some chicken breasts, lean vegetables, broccolis, and the spinaches. Because it's a little sad that Daivari's older than you and is in better shape. Just saying. I got Eddie going over regardless, though.
Yes, I do too.
So, yeah. Then we get the Defeat Rohit Challenge. The thing says somehow, some way, Rohit continues to escape with his X Division title. Rohit brought his rivalry with TJP to an end. Now the Desi Hitman prepares yet another Defeat Rohit challenge on Saturday. Who will answer the call? The last time it was Willie Mack. So I'm thinking this time it's going to be Eric Young.
Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily be against that, to be honest. I mean, it keeps Eric Young away from the main event picture. I'm gonna throw one out there.
Okay.
How about Chris Sabin?
He's already in the match.
He is already in the match, but that doesn't mean he can't be another one.
True. Probably not going to be Sabin.
It's probably not gonna be Sabin.
Can I throw one out there that I know it's not going to be, but I would love to see an AOA?
What's up?
Rhino. And then he wins.
And then he wins.
Rhino's the X Division champion because fuck, why not?
Fuck.
We then have Tennille and Jordan versus Rosemary and Taya. Thackeray, what you got?
I'm gonna say Tennille and Jordan just because they're the tag team that no one expected to work out, and thus they'll make it all the way to the finals of the tag team tournament, if not win the whole damn thing.
Rohit versus Alicia. Book it. I'm going with Rosemary and Taya. I feel like they're going to build up to Rosemary and Taya versus Tasha Steelz and Kira. You know, they've had the most interactions between any of the four women, and they kind of have the built-in history, and it just makes the most sense that the two most established tag teams in the division right now would be the ones that would go to the finals. So I'm going to go with Rosemary and Taya, and the revolving door around Tennille and Jordan will continue to do so, and yes. So we then get Brian Myers versus Swoggle. And I don't know why. Like, this is one of those matches where I think Scott D'Amore's like, hey, Swoggle, we like you. You're a good guy. We consider you friends. Let's book you. Because if we're being honest, and I feel like this show is really, really about the honesty, there isn't a single person in the entire fucking world that's going to pay to see Swoggle versus anyone. Let alone Brian Myers versus anyone. So I feel like this is one of those moments where it doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. By the by, why does Brian Myers look like such and not like a good tool when I say he looks like a tool, but why does Brian Myers look like such a tool? Like an X-Pac go-away heat tool when he wrestles, but in his adverts, he looks like a badass. Does he not know that look is transferable to his in-ring product?
Clearly he doesn't.
He's a fucking idiot. No one thinks Brian Myers looks good in his blue and orange singlet. Kid, you dumb. Impact needs to start having some creative control over the wrestlers because these dudes don't know what the fuck they're doing. Moose versus Willie Mack. I'm going to go with the Moose because he seems like on a trajectory to get to Swan eventually. He seems like the next pay-per-view matchup, so I think Moose gets the win here.
Yep, I agree.
All right, moving on then. Tag team titles. I feel like my achy breaky heart's about to achy breaky break. The Good Brothers getting the win here, and I feel like the North, or at least Ethan Page, is going to be heading off to AEW here in the next few weeks. I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Good Brothers are definitely going over on this one.
I feel like this was going to be the Machine Guns, but because of Shelley's injury, they made the change back to the North.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thought. If the North does lose at Turning Point, like it pretty much seals that Ethan is probably gone, and that would be a fucking disappointment because the North have been amazing. Impact needs talent, but they keep losing guys, and here we are again having the same goddamn conversation.
That's two. That's two tag teams gone.
Yup. If my prediction is right, but then again,
Yeah.
we called Johnny Impact, we called Brian Cage, we called Austin Aries, we called EC3, we called EC3 we didn't call. We just let him go. I've never seen a wrestler kill all the hype they had in such a short amount of time. Honest to God, at this rate, if this is EC3's current gimmick, don't ever come back. Go and run free in whatever fucking company you want to because you have no value right now. But with Ethan, it's more subjective and anticipation. We'll see what happens. Impact does not really have the desire to compete with offers right now, so Speaking of competing, Su Yung, Deanna, I think Deanna goes over and reclaims her belt. I think Su Yung got the belt simply to satiate fans who were disappointed that Kylie Ray, who has officially retired from wrestling, by the way, should put that in the news part of things. I feel like Sue won the title just because Kylie retired, and no showed Bound for Glory. She didn't retire before Bound for Glory. No showed Bound for Glory. And disappointed fans, so I think the title change was done to satiate the fans. So I think they'll move the belt back to Deanna. That's my prediction. What about yours?
I really hope they put the belt back on Deanna. Su Yung does not need nor should have the belt at all.
No, but then again, Impact's really good at putting belts on the wrong people. Speaking of wrong people, Rich Swann's the champion. He's taking on Sami Callihan. Rematch of their feud from a few years ago, which actually wasn't bad. I liked it.
No,
for the X Division, for the X Division title. And this one's going to be for the world title, however. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you want to talk about headliners, you got maybe 4 in Impact, and I think Sami Callihan's one of them. They're going to try to make Swann into the top guy, so I don't see Callihan beating Swann. But if Callihan did beat Swann, you would turn, like, if you had the North retain, Deanna win, Swann win, or Swann lose to Sami, and then someone debuted and won the X Division title or one who's on the roster and people love, like, that would be great. Like you would reset a lot of things, but I don't see that happening in most cases. So I see Swann retaining.
Yeah, I agree, especially with Moose looming on the horizon. Theoretically, he's loomed on the horizon many a time before, and then they just cut him short. So hopefully it sticks this time.
I do believe that Moose will end up winning the belt in January or at their next pay-per-view offering, whenever that is. I think it's in January, but I could be wrong. So that's my ultimate prediction. All right, that's about it. Anything else pop up in the wire that maybe caught your eye? Although you don't check the wire.
Nope.
You're a lazy one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. Something about a crocodile, Mr. Grinch. The 3 words I have to describe you are sting, sing, stunk. All right. Now that I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole, I think it's time to say goodbye, Zachary. Until next Wednesday. We will be back. Twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground or YouTube.com/The Wrestling Underground for more Making Impact needs. Or you can go to realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. You can check us out there. We got a bunch of shows and content on the website. It's all free. Downloads are free. No download for Making an Impact. It's just a straight YouTube video, so just enjoy. But yeah, that's it. Zachary, you can be found on Instagram and DeviantArt at Radiance2020, RADIANCE2020.
Correct.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chad Nerdcorp on Twitter, ChadNerdcorp, and Chad's Photo Hut on Instagram, CADS. PHOTOHUT. I think that's it. We will be back on Friday, me and Swisher, for Season 5 of Community. And then Saturday, we got our Nerdcore podcast and video game review. So, doubleheader on Saturday. Then we're not back until Tuesday. With all that, we're done. Zach, say goodnight.
Good night, the North, because you're going away and I'm sad.
Maybe going away. By the by, follow us on Twitter at NERDCORP. That's NERDCORP on Twitter.